Hello, my name is Mike Kendi. This is David Kendi, and welcome down here to our farm in Skeheenarinky in Tipperary. We're running an organic sheep farm. As you can see, our sheep behind us are a mid-season lambing flock. We're lambing down around 200 ewes every year, and we're currently carrying around 250 to 300 sheep here on the farm.
So I suppose through my journey, I lost over 8.5 stone. Mike has lost over 4.5 stone through plenty of ups and downs over the last, I suppose, 12 years, to be honest, between, grief, ups and downs on the farm, etc. And the biggest thing I suppose we learned is how to work the mind with the body. There's so much more to the food and the exercise, to be quite honest, and we had to build an awful lot of awareness over the years and how we actually adapt on everyday workings on the farm as well. When you're dealing with beating hearts and you're working with machinery and you've plenty of ups and downs, there's nothing straightforward. And the biggest thing that happens, you can build up a stress, and before you know it, it starts to compound, and before you know it, sometimes when the head is so full, the actions will be negative, and that leads to comfort eating the packet of biscuits, when you come in after work, after the farm, and it starts to build and get worse and get worse and get worse.
I suppose the first step is having the awareness that you want to make that change. And that's the first step, is actually being able to get an awareness and an understanding of your current circumstances and see exactly, where your blind spots are at the moment and where you're actually struggling. And then as well as that, then being able to actually take that first step which is the hardest step, is actually going out there and getting the help that you want. And I suppose starting really simple, starting simple, movement, being able to get the movement better, but as well as that then being able to get that understanding with your nutrition and your food. And on top of that as well is just being able to get awareness of your behaviours too, highlighting to where you find yourself struggling. What's the reasons you find yourself maybe struggling in terms of your food? Why do you find yourself struggling in terms of being able to make that time for your exercise? And something that you can do with the farm, not against it, because the farm work has to be done. It has to be done. But on top of that as well, we still need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and that we're at the best for ourselves, that we can be the best for ourselves to do the farm, but as well as that for the people around us as well.
You'll have spring next year, you'll have silage next year, you'll have lambing next year. It's what to do through each stages of the year, because that affects us differently with our emotions. The biggest thing I see to a lot of people, including myself, Mike, once upon a time, we weren't so open before. We were closed off, we wouldn't say anything about how we felt, etc. Don't be afraid to, talk to people. Don't be afraid to open up, and to someone that you trust, a sibling, a parent, someone that will give you can say whatever and not worry about it. We all keep everything up here, and before you know it, it's coming out your ears. You can't even think straight. And the stress in the farm will continue to be the farm, and it'll compound and compound. Before you know it, you can't even think straight.
When we're farming, we're looking at everything that's in front of us. We can see when an animal's not doing well, we can see when there's something going wrong, and it's very easy to fix them things. But sometimes we just don't know what are the underlying things that might be at hand here. And for us, that came to our front doorstep, this year, like losing my mother, never actually having awareness that there was an illness there. And that's something that people overlook. And for anyone, being able to just take a day, an hour, just to go get a checkup, to get seen if everything is in line, it's well worth it, because as well as that too, it's going to give you that awareness to see if there is something out of line, if your cholesterol, your blood pressure, if there's anything else there that needs to be looked at. And if we're not being able to keep up with the work because there's something underlying there that's after affecting us, and all of a sudden it's after becoming a problem. And that's where a simple checkup once a year, just to get a check over everything, can really give you that clarity and give you that comfort that you are moving in the right direction. And if things aren't okay, it's fine, but you can take the steps needed to work on it, because and you have that awareness that there is something there that you can do about it.
The most important thing, when we say to everyone that we work with and everyone on the socials and whatnot, is you have to work it around yourself, work it around your family, work it around the farm. That's the only way it will work, And the most important thing is you have to be able to control what you can control through different times of the year. So like I said, you have to look at this at push and pull. Sometimes you'll have to pull back, but you can focus on the food as good as you can. You can focus on keeping the head right. And then you can push on when you have a little more time. Maybe you get more steps in, you'll have a little more time. It's not always going to be the same. And that's what's going to create the maintenance. What you can actually, look, it's great losing weight and all. The hardest part of it all, and everyone will tell you, is keeping the weight off, right? And that's what we really try to do, to create longevity, get a lifestyle change, most importantly. You have to get a little bit of time away, even if it's 2 or 3 hours, get away with the family, meet a friend, whatever it is. recharge the batteries, replenish yourself a little bit, where you come back saying, oh jeez, I needed that.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm looking forward to the work again.
Yeah.
It's better to recharge the batteries, so, because you want, look, as I always say, I said earlier, the farm ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, you have to create this lifestyle for you that's realistic, you know, that you can, it worked for you, and that's the most important.